Studio did not like this film. It did not do well in the box office, but that was the advent of DVDs. So at that time, it started to go around like that, and little by little became a cult hit. And it is massive for me because that is what everyone knows me from, which is not at all what I thought would happen. And so it's good to have one under your belt that way. And that movie has had a very long staying power as a result of its humanity.
Back up in your ass with the resurrection. Is the group harder than an erection that shows no affection? They wanna ban us on Capitol Hill, cause it's die, motherfuckers, die, motherfuckers. All along it was the ghetto, nothing but the ghetto. Taking short steps, 1 foot at a time, and kept my head low and never let go. Cause if I let go, then I'd be spineless. I'm going insane. I think my mind just goes out of control and touch on subjects motherfuckers read about. I touch on the shit that they be leaving out. I seen this motherfuckers not smoking.
Hello everyone, we have Jamie and Ajay Naidu, the heroine and hero from Brenda. We just watched this wonderful movie at Cinequest 2026 at California Theaters. Welcome to Yo India TV with me, Jasleen.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure that this is a good moment to talk to you because people are so excited after the movie being featured today and everybody is giving so rave reviews about the movie. How's your experience at Cinequest 2026?
It's lovely. It's a beautiful theater. People seem very excited and really pumped about being here. So it's a pleasure, and it's a pleasure to see our film.
Yeah. It's a thrill to be here. Lovely screening, and I was glad to see it big finally. And I really enjoyed it. This film reveals things to me again and again, and it's a sensitive film. And I'm really glad that we had such a group of people to see it today.
The drug diplomatic's in the back again.
A higher standard of home is taking shape. Welcome to Roorke Homes at the Lakes, where timeless architecture meets contemporary living. Expansive kitchens, sunlit great rooms, refined formal spaces, balanced with everyday comfort. Designed for how families gather, work and grow. Built with passion, defined by precision, elevated with lasting quality. Roorke Homes at the Lakes in Mountain House. Passion, precision, prestige. Building trust, one home at a time.
Tell me a little more about Brenda. Any memorable moments from the acting? Any exciting things you revealed as actors, while the making of the film was there? And where was the film shot?
It was shot in New Orleans, where the story's set, and it's set in the 90s. And this couple is selling marijuana, which was very highly illegal at the time. So the stakes are very heightened. And then we have a young kid who's starting to ask questions, and we're trying to figure out how to,
carry on with
life. And how much truth to share with our kid, and if what we're doing is correct, and how to raise a family nicely. So. And it was a very run and gun shoot. It was 13 filming days. Is that what he just said? So very we were really going for it.
Yeah, very little time. But the film was exciting all the way through because it's a very high stakes film, at least in terms of the storyline, and also its morality, because it's that is the subtle aspect of it that I think was difficult to capture when you're going so fast and going so gunning. How can you find what the actual moral tone is and what these people actually feel about what they are doing, which is illegal and but necessary for them. So that aspect of it was very, very. It revealed itself to me as I went through it because it was very an immediate sort of experience.
Yeah, and I think at the crux of it was about the family and how much we love our family unit. So it was really important to get in there.
The bond was very natural and the acting was so real and surreal. So, totally loved it. And your kid, your boy was wonderful,
Thank you.
He really did an amazing part.
But, you like that? But that became like too heavy or weird.
Roscoe, did you pick up your Lincoln Logs?
Hi everyone, we have Brenda movie producer director right here with us. The film features Ajay Naidu as well. Welcome to Yo India TV. Tell me a little more about yourselves and the movie.
Thank you. My name is Henry Griffin. I wrote and directed the movie Brenda. And this is Marion.
I'm Marion Forbes and I'm a producer on the film.
And how did you get to choose 3 Indian American actors?
I have been friends with the actor Ajay Naidu for many decades, and I've always wanted to work with him. And finally, our schedules lined up and he was able to work. The film is about a family, a father and a son, and Ajay, and the child in the movie has to be 6 years old. And Ajay had a son who was 6 years old. And so he said, I could be in the movie, but could my son play the part too? And his wife is also an actor, so we had a family.
I just heard that you started as a child actor as well.
I did start as a child actor. I started when I was 11. My teacher in school, her son was a tremendous actor, and I used to wander around acting to myself. And she said, I think you'll make a really good actor. She took me in after school for an audition for an open call, and I ended up getting the lead in a movie opposite Michael Keaton. And it just kept on going from there. And then I stopped for a while and trained very seriously in theater, and then came back to film later in life.
So were you raised in US, and if so, where, or did you live part of your life in India?
I was in India off and on my whole life from when I was when I was born. But I was born in the US and I grew up in Chicago. But I've been in India almost every year since I was born. My one uncle worked for Air India, and my other uncle was in Parliament, so that made it very easy for me to go back. My family goes back a long way. My mom's from Kerala, my dad's from Andhra, but they met in Delhi, so I'm a Delhi wala in India.
Interesting, love in Delhi Dilwalon ki, and here's one more example.
That's the 60s all over the world, it's not just in America or Europe, So
2 times in juvenile hall in the past month. 3 times you've been sent home from school.
Stay out of my way.
Hey! Don't you talk to me like that?
Come on! Let's go! Come on, you chicken!
Cool it.
Come on!
Hey,
Huh?
Nick.
Come on!
Take
What
it
are you,
easy,
chicken,
man.
Huh?
Cool it.
Ma, don't do this to me. I'll freak. I'm serious.
Please, it's only for a little while until I find us a safer place to live.
But Ma, you
Now,
can't.
don't give me a hard time, Luis. Okay? I mean, it's bad enough.
Tell me a little more about Office Space. Your role as Samir is extraordinarily famous, and we know you from Office Space. So let's go back a little bit and talk about that.
Yes, that part. Just so you know, that film was not very well received initially, and it is about a miserablest workplace, and that was what the poor kids coming out of college had to look forward to when they went into IT. All of the brilliant engineers that came from that this is the world that they were entering, and so there was naturally a sort of a real universal quality to that film, especially in the sadness of that film. But the studio did not like this film. It did not do well in the box office, but that was the advent of DVDs. So at that time, it started to go around like that, and little by little became a cult hit, and. It is massive for me because that is what everyone knows me from, which is not at all what I thought would happen. And so it's good to have one under your belt that way. And that movie has had a very long staying power as a result of its humanity and its exploration of dehumanization.
Why does it say pepper jam when there is no pepper jam? I swear to God, one of these days I just kick this piece of shit out the window.
You and me both, man. Thing is lucky I'm not armed.
Piece of shit.
Sam, Iyer, Naga.
So, tell me a little more about your background and career as well.
I grew up in New Orleans, and I always wanted to act since I was a kid. And I moved to New York right after high school, and also studied in theater. And then just started doing TV. I did The Deuce on HBO, and then a lot of TV work since then, which I've been so lucky to do. And then just making my own independent films, and
which we all want to act in, because she's a tremendous director. I got to act. She directed me in a recent film that was a very beautiful experience, and she's a tremendous director as well. So I get to work with her again.
So, wasn't there any issue with your wife when she saw the lip lock scenes with her?
You know, my wife is also a very sort of upstanding and strong actor. And I've had to watch her kiss thousands of people because she...
Lip lock scenes are just a kiss, you know, those are different.
Well, no, now, you know, it is different because of India, the different kind of thing. No, but here that's just a commonplace kiss. Yes, my wife is a good-looking lady, and so she's oftentimes cast in romantic parts. I'm never cast in romantic parts, so it's high time that she got to see me do a little romance. But no, but she was quite cool of it, because Jamie and I are good friends, and Heather and she are good friends. So we are familial. So this kind of thing feels like, you know, not to say that it's like being with your sister, but it's being with the sister of the struggle. So therefore, it's easy to kiss.
She's very supportive.
Easy to kiss.
Lovely, a lovely woman and coworker and friend.
And how lucky for me, no?
I am going to sell.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Just before I forget, can you talk to his teacher and can you ask if he has any friends?
What was the best part of the movie from your perspective?
From my perspective, this was a huge learning opportunity for me. It's my first time producing a feature-length film and a comedy, so I was learning every step of the way. I was meeting all these actors. I was working with really great talent, and it was a teaching environment just as much as it was a learning environment. And so there were so many people just offering expertise and places for me to grow and learn through the whole process.
You're late.
Oh, Roscoe, let's jam.
You've got the Excellence in Performing Arts Award by Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White. How was the experience? And, you know, in the wake of all the rest of the awards that came before it, you know, long list as well, you know.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I mean, that was extremely gratifying to me, because, you know, when you go home to somewhere, if like, for instance, when I worked in India and people enjoyed what I was doing there, that was deeply gratifying. So to have to go home to Chicago and be given that honor was tremendous, and very, very moving to me, particularly because my father-in-law was in government at the time, and he had not said anything about it, but the government came to him and said, we're thinking of giving an award to this person. And he then found out that it was me. So that was a very gratifying to me. And
who was your father-in-law, by the way?
my father-in-law was a man called James Burns. He was U.S. Attorney under Janet Reno, and then he was also the Inspector General for Illinois. He passed away some years ago, but it was a very big deal to me to have received that.
And recently we are seeing Indian Americans coming up in power. You know, Raja Krishnamurthy is also from Illinois, and he's been a congressman for a while now, and I know he has high aspirations to be a senator and whatnot. So how's the political environment in Illinois right now?
I really listen a great deal to James Pritzker. He's an incredible politician and an incredible thinker. There's so many wonderful young Indian American people coming up in government. That is because the tradition of education and the importance of acceptance and the all of that. And I think that it's a very encouraging, actually, Now, I'm not talking about the current political situation, but but I do think that it's very encouraging to see the way our community is thinking about things, and to see them coming up as strong as they are.
Any plans on your side to step up to the occasion in the near future, or maybe a little later?
Are you talking about politics? Because I can't possibly opine on such a thing, or I don't think that I could. I don't think that I could be the kind of person to take that kind of responsibility. But I'd love to help anyone that wants to.
Anything from your side?
Same. I don't think there's a politician in here, baby.
I don't really need the good karma. Yeah, but you gotta do what you want to do in order to get what you want to get. That's it.
Well, what are you trying to get that this is gonna give back to you?
I gotta look out for me and my brother.
You gonna want to go back to work?
The weed trade is changing. Shit is like the wine business now. Connoisseurs know the difference.
Want to ride, orphan?
How do you know I'm an orphan?
Know a lot about you.
I would like to talk about The West Wing. You had a special guest appearance in that. Any memories?
Oh yeah, it's a tremendous thing because this happened the same week of 9/11, and I was to fly the following day. They rewrote this episode the day after, and it's a 9/11 episode. The writer, an incredible writer called Aaron Sorkin, had to write me a letter to get on the plane, because it was a lot of things. So my manager has kept that letter as a sort of a keepsake. But I thought it was a very wonderful experience, particularly because there was a great actor working on it called John Spencer, who was just so thunderous as a presence. And I also re-met Martin Sheen on that, and I had done a sitcom, one day of a sitcom with him several years before that, and he came up to me and said, "Hi, it's me, Martin. Do you remember me from Late Line?" And then I said the fastest thing I'd ever said in my life, and the funniest thing I think I've really come up with in the moment, and said, "No, I remember you from Apocalypse Now." And then he gave me a big hug, and then we were friends. So,
You know who I am?
Of course I know who you are.
Kill them all. Yeah.
All the Islamic extremists.
No, I mean everyone. You're all bothering me. I want to be left alone. Clearly, the only way that's going to happen is to be alone. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to let you all go.
While filming, there are ups and downs as well, as in any profession. There is some politics, and there are also moments about your own performance when you don't like what you did, or the director said something, you had some other opinion, or you forgot a dialogue. So is there any such thing that strikes a chord in your memory from Brenda or from any one of your previous appearances?
I think that in Brenda, the entire time that character is very nervous. That character is highly tense. So in riding the tension, I was always on the verge of forgetting, and always on the verge of screwing up. So it became kind of a part of his personality. That was the only way that I could do it that way, because I was scared the whole time. So,
there was one particular scene that, I think it's a 12-minute scene, or it was at some point.
Yes.
And it felt like doing a play. I think so rarely do you get a long scene where you're not cutting it up with different takes, and that was really rewarding. It felt like,
that's right.
Not that we rehearsed it too much going into it, but it felt like a rehearsal process. It felt like doing a play, which is, since we both have theater backgrounds, it's very rewarding. And there's something a little more organic and flowing with that, of like, we're in the moment. If we mess up, we're gonna make it not a mess up.
They didn't call cut for 6 minutes. Yeah. It's in the play. It's still in the movie. Yeah. We carried on going, and Henry had written this one-act play in the middle of the film, and we didn't even realize that it had taken that long. We just played on because it followed a trajectory. But that's a very, very good point, because it felt deeply natural.
Yeah, and
So-
there's something about there. At one point, there aren't really mistakes. You can maybe you forgot a line for a moment, and then you're searching for what to say. But then it feels like, as a human, you're searching for what to say in this moment, and I feel like that can kind of lend to the humanity of it and the naturalness.
Naturalism,
So,
yeah.
I think not being scared of making a mistake because you're in a safe space with people that you trust, and you're like, that's not a mistake. That was actually the greatest acting I've ever done.
Yeah, to err is human, and sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, as what you said.
The mistakes are always good.
Yeah.
You know, you have to.
As long as you're learning from them, or they amount to, covering up of something that you wouldn't have thought of.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't want to co-own a failing bookstore. Bookstores exist to help people find meaning. Hell, to find a best friend in the pages of the book.
Someone get me out of this book! I don't want to read an entire eviction notice after we divert our money to pay our employees.
Listen, we could use the money.
When I helped you buy back this bookstore, I did it for a reason. Your father, he wanted a place where authors and readers could connect.
Trying to make me dinosaur?
Down my number.
Oh my god.
I mean, what is the point of a bookstore if it's masquerading as a mediocre coffee shop?
I would also like to ask you about The Sopranos.
The Sopranos was a very, I mean, I love that show. I just recently watched it for comfort food anyway. And I think it's very, at that time, there were not many people, not many young Indian people working. And all my Indian friends got jobs on Sopranos also in different parts. But I was close with an actor called Michael Imperioli, who plays Christopher Moltisanti on it, but I auditioned for the part, and I auditioned hard for the part, and ended up playing a South Asian actor playwright in the thing. So it was a really wonderful chance, and I often feel like when I watch it, I hope I don't take myself out of the experience of watching The Sopranos, because I love that show. So it was a great. I was so pleased to be on it.
Feel the beat, y'all. Yeah.
Red turban, sipping bourbon in Suburbans, hear the call. From the barn while I was in Durban, through every super sprawl. For all the smooth Punjabis, we said, Tat Sri Akal.
Put your hands in the air and raise them up and go. Stop your feet on the ground and break it down and go. Raise your hands up.
So to all the viewers of Yo India TV who are proud to see an Indian American being so famous in US, nowadays, after so many years,
Yes.
there's just one other Indian American girl, and Priyanka Chopra, she's been Miss World, and now people are looking up to her as being someone who could really make it to Hollywood.
Okay.
But you are here since 80s. You've had your name. You have a Wikipedia. You've been doing acting from a very long time. There is a long list I'm seeing even on the wiki for the TV series that you have done and also for the films that you have done.
Yes.
So how do you see the American film industry and the role and the response from the industry to Indian Americans?
That's a very salient and powerful question. I grew up in it. I've seen it change at different times for different things. At this time, I think there's an extraordinary chance for young Indian artists to express themselves and to take a strong lead. Well, she's not the only one. We have, of course, Riz Ahmed, but he's English, and I've been here since the '80s, and so he's fairly young. So I've watched it change a lot. When I first started, I wasn't even playing Indian people. I was playing Latino people, and then finally I was playing Indian people. But they were, there's kids now that would say, I would never play it like that. I would never play. But I simply just played my father. You know what I mean? I play my uncle. You know what I mean? I don't see any problem with that. I've never had that issue, but people, they're like, that's racist, and I'm like, well, how can it be possibly racist if I'm also Indian? And then so that this kind of difficulty has been there, but on the whole, now finally we are at a place where I think that you don't have, particularly with a film like Brenda, where that has nothing to do with the character. That is, this guy just happens to be Indian in the American diaspora, which I hope we'll move forward towards, and that the cultural hook of being Indian won't be the entire subject matter of the thing. You know, that's what I'm hoping we're always moving forward. And that's the projects that I'm always looking at. And I don't get hired anymore as a Indian guy. You know what I mean? They just won't see me as that, even though I feel like I've got some good sanskar, you know what I mean, and I feel like I've really been in the trenches and like really worked hard. That is not the case anymore. So I'm proud of what's happening with the young people, and I hope that they don't have to go through a lot of the things that I had to go through, particularly in Hollywood.
Don't let him fight! The dude wants him!
No, wait a minute! This is ridiculous!
Yeah!
Fakiza? बस बिल्कुल ठीक है कमान बिल्कुल ठीक है को नीचे रखो इट्स ओके कम ऑन अंदर चले
I think that's a welcoming response, you know, as India grows into a bigger power in 21st century. So great to be meeting you, Ajay. And
it's such a pleasure. Thank you for asking me these very important and very nice questions. I appreciate the chance to answer them.
Any final words to all the viewers of Yo India TV who will be watching you worldwide and who will be seeking inspiration from you as an Indo-American who has made it in the Hollywood film industry?
Just remember, first of all, I'm very happy to say to all of you, thank you for allowing me to speak to you at this moment. Secondly, the story is the star in anything that you do. The narrative is higher than all of us. There's no one actor or one director or one person that can somehow be the penultimate. The story is always the star.
Can I ask you, like, one Bollywood film whose storyline has really been
Influential to me?
influential to you? Yes.
Oh, you can't just say just one, because there's too many. In my life, there's been too many. I mean, Sunday in my house was only Bollywood. But let me see. When I was really little, I liked Kurbani. When I was like a little bit older, then of course I liked Sholay. And then later on, when I got romantic, it was Kabhi Kabhi. You know what I mean? And then like as it went on and on. But you know, I like cinema in India also. Obviously, Ray and all of that, and Salam Bombay, and you know, the list goes on and on. I can't possibly say, oh, there's just one, but you know, and then later, I mean, there's so many. But I hope that initial list it will give people a taste of who I've become. You know what I mean? So,
And any inspiration that you seek from Bollywood actors or actresses?
I think that it's a very difficult. Bollywood is a very difficult world to work in for actors. You have to be very resilient, because it is a tough game. I think much harder and much more difficult to navigate than anywhere in Hollywood, because I don't mean to be too weird, but you know, it walks a danger, that industry walks a very dangerous line. There's not people looking out for you. There's not rules the same way it is in America. I don't know if it's the same now. I mean, most of my really hotshot Indian friends do have American agents, but that doesn't really wash in Bali. You have to make your own deals, so you have to have people looking out for you. And I think it's a tough racket. So I have incredible respect for anyone that can get paid in Bollywood.
Very well said, very well put. We understand the pain points and gravities.
The inferences behind that?
Yes.
Good. I don't want to make any enemies. I want to work in Bollywood. If they would let me, I'd do it. How about that?
Wonderful, and all the very best.
So great to meet you. Thank you so much.
Put your hands in the air and raise them up and go. Stop your feet on the ground and break it down and go.
All of y'all cats. You know what I say? UK, NY, Bombay. Then on and on. Some roughnecks. Your Big Daddy Kane with a little dash of saffron. I thank Bhagavan. I'm like a chakka across intercontinental, subcontinental dada.
Props to Lawrence of
It's
Punjab.
the place to be. With me, the BDG, it transcended in all us three.